let's talk about data. So data is a very big thing in deep learning, in machine learning, in AI. You need to have huge amounts of data, or good enough data, in order to train these algorithms. How much data do you need? I think that's a very frequent questions I hear. Like, how much data do I need? So I think that's actually the wrong questions. So data, it's not about quantities, it's about the quality of the data. So if, for instance, you want to develop a model, an AI model, a deep learning model that is actually able to detect vehicles, so if you expose it only to a single type of car, then you cannot expect it to generalize and find other types of vehicles. You would like to expose it to a very large variety of data coming from different types of vehicles, different types of scenarios, urban highways, urban roads, highways. You would like to see them in different weather conditions, time of day, and so on. So you need to make sure you have this high amount of variability. I think data was one of the key factors, the key things. I think perhaps the first thing we tackled in Brodmann, the first thing we did is starting collecting the data, because an AI without data is basically nothing. So you need to have this data, but you need to make sure you're doing the data collection, the data representation in a very smart way. You need to make sure you have this variability. And also, of course, even after you do this collection, you would always have to deal with these corner cases. So we see this, I think a very common approach these days. In recent years, it started to be like the standard on how you do a data collection, and how you actually get to almost perfection of your solution is you collect data, you identify what are the corner cases your solution is currently not handling, you retrain the model, and then you deploy through this continuous data collection process. So I think it's the understanding today that this is a continuous process, not a one-time process, and you will never get to perfection unless you constantly continue to collect the data. There are some concerns once you're doing this, large efforts of data collection, that of course you're using many different types of sensors, many cameras, and you're constantly capturing videos or other sensory information of real pedestrian, actually real people walking in the street without actually asking for their permission. So in recent years, there has also been raised this concern about privacy issues. I think it will be even more difficult in the future once we have all of these products in production. So we'll actually have millions of vehicles, but not only in vehicles, but millions of vehicles with cameras capturing continuous data. Regulation is struggling to handle this, but there are some attempts to regulate this, defining a mechanism and technological means of how you store the data, what is the storing policy, do you need to notify perhaps the person that the data is being captured. So that's, I think, a real issue that we'll have to see how we handle with in the future.